a snare? Shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth, a snare? Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man.
We have the power to shut off all electrical batteries, generators. We have the power to shut down this planet. I'm coming to you. I'm coming to the United Nations. You should invite me to come to the United Nations. I wrote you and told you to invite me to come. The more you refuse to obey my commandment, the harder it's going to get, and the worse it's going to get for you by days and hours. It's going to get worse and worse and worse.
Mine, Black Ice Force, is much, much more powerful, celestial, and supreme.
And how this weekend storm continues to affect the nation.
Tonight, officials say at least 15 people have died in the storm as dangerous conditions remain. Michael Yoshida has the latest.
Amid freezing temperatures, cleanup efforts begin.
It's been warming up, and I've been waiting for kind of keeping the exhaust clear and clearing it off, waiting to dig out the sides to clear off everything on top.
Over 200 million people are under cold alerts. The frigid conditions are setting new record daily lows in the plains. More records are expected to be broken in the south.
At least 18 people have died because of this massive winter storm. Power companies reporting that hundreds of thousands of customers are still without service. Rena Roy has our coverage in New York.
Then your white de facto ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement Force.
Well, Eddie, I'm at the scene of the shooting, and as you can see behind me, there's a fairly large group now gathering at what is a makeshift memorial to the victim, 37-year-old Alex Pretti. People here really struggling to get their heads around what happened and why he was killed in the manner in which he was killed. We know that he is a local ICU nurse. This incident was filmed from many different angles. It shows Pretti trying to help a woman who was pushed over by a Border Patrol agent before he is then wrestled to the ground, struck a number of times, before he is shot and killed. Now, the White House says that those agents acted in self-defense, that Pretti came at them armed with a gun, and labeling him as a would-be assassin. And look, it's true, he did have a weapon, but look, he had a legal permit to carry that weapon. Nothing illegal about the fact that he had it on him. And in those videos, there is absolutely no evidence at all that he reached for that weapon at any stage, pulled it out, and pointed it at anybody. And you've got to remember, this is a community still in mourning after the death of local mother Renee Good, who was also shot and killed by an ICE agent just a couple of weeks ago. The local governor says that he has spoken to the White House, and he is demanding that these ICE agents, 3,000 of them sent here by Donald Trump to carry out his immigration agenda, leave this city and leave immediately.
In fact, and by truth, mine Black Ice, Intergalactic Celestial Execution All Force has killed, is killing, and will continue to kill from this day forward more than what your white ice force has already killed in this land mass of 48 states. Am I correct? Rita and Alex? Both that were and are of the very same 37 chapter of Ezekiel years of age. Only 37 years of age. Also, as in Psalm chapter 37 and verse 37. And in those words, mark the perfect man, and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. Shaking my fucking head. Anyway, vengeance is mine.
Deadly and potentially historic winter storm slamming millions of us across the country. It is a triple threat of snow, of ice, and this life-threatening Arctic cold that's going to stick around for days.
I said, vengeance is mine. Reference the news report that is attached to this celestial thesis.
The National Guard is stepping in and to help out Mississippi as the cold temperatures hang around after the winter weather. At least 30 deaths nationwide are blamed on the storm.
We don't yet know whether every case will be ruled hypothermia, but we need every New Yorker to be on alert, looking out for their neighbors.
Just stand by and watch this news clipping, this news video, and see for yourselves.
The frigid conditions are setting new record daily lows in the plains. More records are expected to be broken in the south, where ice remains a major concern.
Much of that ice is still creating significant challenges for emergency personnel and for the Department of Transportation.
At its peak, this weekend's storm knocked out power to more than 1 million customers.
This is going to be a historic event.
The head of Nashville Electric Service says they are not out of the woods yet.
We'll continue to make progress, but this event is still a weather event ongoing. The trees are still continuing to fall, which is causing issues with restoration and with more outages.
And once you see, I want you to hear what's being said. And here I am, standing in the 27th state to become a state among these 48 states. In the South,
I want to just take a moment to pause and reflect as we zoom on out and take a look at temperatures from all across the country. One thing really stands out, and it's the state of Florida by far. You see these darker shades of purple and blue all across the center of the country, extending through New England. But we have this bright orange on the map for Orlando, Florida, as you're still in the 80s, just past 6:15. But that cold Arctic air will be funneling into Florida by Tuesday morning.
Where I stand in the United States, reference the King James Version Holy Bible's book called Jeremiah in chapter 13, Yirmiyahu, in verse 19, the cities of the south that shall be shut up, and none shall open them. Where it is warm today. It's warm here in this state, where I'm standing, and where, quote, 3-eye Atlas, end quote, is now hovering above mine own head. Freeze! Drop all your guns and your weapons. You're all under arrest. Arrest. You have the right, W-R-I-T-E, to keep your mouth shut at me. A reference, King James Version book called Micah, in chapter 7, verse 16. Even as we ask you a few questions as I conduct mine own criminal investigation, for thereby let me as Shiloh, Reference King James Version, book called Genesis, in chapter 49, verse 10. Let me read all of you my rights, W-R-I-T-E-S, my rights, to wit, which are blackish by reason of the ice, and wherein the snow is hid. Reference the King James Version Holy Bible's book called Job, in chapter 6 and verse 16. Out of whose womb came the ice and the hoary frost of heaven? Who hath gendered it? Reference the King James Version Holy Bible's book called Job, in chapter 38, verse 29, and Micah, chapter 6, and verse 9, for thereby who is not a question, but who is a celestial being. He giveth snow like wool. He, the mighty and terrible black Hebrew God, scattereth the hoarfrost like ashes. He, the great, good, and terrible black Hebrew God, casteth forth his ice like morsels. Who can stand before his cold? Answer this question. That is a question. Who can stand before his cold? Reference the King James Version Holy Bible's book called Deuteronomy, in chapter 10 and verse 17, and in the book called the Psalms, in chapter 147 and verses 16 and 17. Do you have any doubt? Submit yourselves to me. Announce to this planet that we is here in care of, quote, 3I Atlas, end quote. And I have been here living on this planet since Monday, September 27th, 1954. Tell the people in the lands whereupon you all dwell the truth. Tell the people the truth in your lands where you dwell. And let mine people go that are in their captivity, that all the lands where they have been and are now scattered across this planet. Reference the King James Version Holy Bible's book called Jeremiah, in chapter 30, verse 11, chapter 30, verse 11, and Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 10. Or else, Anoki, even I, will use mine coal, mine snow and ice to execute vengeance in mine anger and fury upon all the lands of the heathens on this planet, such as what you have not ever heard of before now.
In northern Mississippi, residents reported trees splitting apart under pressure, crashing onto roads, homes, and power lines, turning entire neighborhoods into isolated pockets cut off from assistance. Across Mississippi, ice-coated highways, neighborhoods, and rural roads, making travel nearly impossible, while fallen trees and snapped limbs blocked access for emergency responders and delayed recovery efforts significantly statewide.
But we have to, you see one coming down right now. Oh, goodness. Never seen anything like this. I know we had an ice storm in 1994 before we lived here, but this is. Here comes one more leaf trim. You hear trees. This is what you hear. We've heard all night during the night. Never seen anything like this.
Do you think that I am someone to play with? If so, if you think such a foolish thing, then you all had better read, R-E-E-D, what is found printed today in your King James Version Holy Bibles book that you all call, quote, Micah, end quote. Now some of you fools even utter Micah in English. In chapter 5, and verse 15. And that is all I have to say. To wit, you cannot prove morally, righteously, and justly, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I am not the son of the God of the Hebrews, until you can prove righteously, morally, justly, beyond a shadow of a doubt, who is the son of the God of the Hebrews.